Check 1 2. You know what it is. Episode 450 of the New Old Heads podcast is in your phone and on your television right now. We had to go ahead and talk about Chance the Rapper and his new album. And is this a comeback? Can you even consider it to be a comeback? We talked about it. We also talked about the new album that Erick Sermon is preparing right now that is a dynamic duo situation where we were excited about some of the collaborations, but some of them not so much. Speaking of dynamic duos, there is a project in the works right now with Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel. Is it something that you're excited about? We talked about it, and I think you'll be surprised with some of the things that we had to say. We also reviewed new music by Coast Contra, Ghostface Killah, Mick Jenkins, and Open Mike Eagle. Once again, it is episode number 450 of the New Old Heads podcast. Check us out on Patreon. Get involved. You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, where we respect the old and embrace the new. My man Jay Moore is in the building. How are you, good sir?
I am doing excellent. You know, enjoying a little cool off here in this weather.
Yeah, post trees. I feel you.
Yeah.
My man Lonegevity rocking the trees merch. I see you. How are you, good buddy?
Mostly recovered. How are you?
Mostly recovered.
Yeah. My Sunday was shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure we get everybody squared away. My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations.
How are you, sir?
Doing all right, man.
How was your recovery process post trees?
Yeah, about the same.
About the same. Okay.
Late night, late set.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, good time though.
Late sets just don't hit the same as they did 10, 15 years ago, do they?
Nah, you know, you be ready to get home nowadays. At least I do. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm out here performing with Fox, and I'm usually at the crib rubbing my feet together, watching some. So yeah, I mean, it was a good time though. I can't complain.
All right, so let's talk about the homie Chance the Rapper. So did Chance just save his career? It's the question I'll pose. Now, Chance the Rapper's latest album, Starline, follows his 2019's widely criticized The Big Day. Chance's return marks a pivotal moment in his career, raising questions about his, artistic trajectory in terms of his career and where he's going. So I'll go ahead and pose the first question for today. Now, Chance took 6 years off, traveled the world, took some time, just to live his life before dropping a new album. So the question is this concept, or the way that he was moving, is this realistic in our consumerism-driven world as an artist? Because this might not work for everybody. Take a hiatus, live, go through experiences, and come back and drop a project. So what do y'all think about that?
This thing, I got a chance to run the Chance project, and I like it.
Yeah.
Where I did not like his last album at all. I thought it was terrible. I mean,
that's big.
I'm not pulling any punches. I thought that album was terrible. And I thought, okay, Chance at one point was very much the toast of the town. Every award show had to have him. His story about how he bet on himself, or the whole situation with Apple Music. And
Host of The Voice.
Yeah,
twice,
and,
I think, right?
At one point, hosted Saturday Night Live. And here's somebody with, so he was that dude for a minute. Everybody wanted a piece of Chance the Rapper. People walking around with the 3 hats. That was a thing. And then he put out that album in 2019, and all that can stop. Your momentum can stop by a record that people are not into. And for him to take 6 years off, to think about all this change in the world, not just musically, but just, this is pre-pandemic. He put out an album that people didn't like, and and this is his first real look coming back with a full project in 6 years. Even when we talk about how the hiatus that Cardi B has taken, we talked a little bit about her previous episode. At least, in that time, she had like 3 #1 songs that weren't on her album. She never left. She's always been, whether it just be in the gossip mags or whatever, Cardi B has never left, despite the fact that she only has that one, what I like to call pre-pandemic album.
Yeah.
But Chance came back, and I always say that you can always recover, your place in the game, you know, and whatever, whether it be controversy or just someone saying you went cold, if you have good art or, you know, if you're an athlete, you know, people forget about whatever your malfeasance has been. If you have an MVP season or you rush for 2,000 yards or you lead the league in sacks, you know, people will forgive you for whatever happened before if you come back and give them something to attach themselves to. And I'm not big into at this point, because we've talked about how numbers and chart positions, depending on the kind of artist, it really doesn't matter. All I know is the word of mouth. Everyone is saying that this Chance the Rapper album is good after taking 6 years off from delivering an album that really nobody likes or revisits.
What do you think, Lone, in terms of, you know, just the climate and today's climate when people take a hiatus like this?
I think it's challenging. I think it's challenging to take like a break like he did and bounce back as strong as he did. The album's good. Like it's probably one of my favorite ones that has dropped in the last couple months, and that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of really good stuff that's dropped in the last couple months. And I just say that just because it fits more my speed of what I'm kind of like on right now. You know what I mean? Not to take anything away from the other projects, but it's really good. All things considered, I think it's challenging because, you know, sometimes it's very easy to write somebody off like, well, you know, I'm not going to check for that person anymore. I saw in a brief interview that he said that it was Lauryn Hill that kind of inspired him to come back because he said he had like his let Nas down moment, but it was Lauryn Hill. In the relations too, she said, you know, I see you out here doing the voice and doing these things, but you need to get back to what people need from you. And that's
coming from Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, I know. Right. But
don't do that.
As Jackson laughs really loud over there. Right.
Or cough or something.
But he said that was a moment for him to realize that he needed to get back to what he needed to do. And, you know, yeah, I think it's challenging, you know, like we're in a time right now where it's very easy to forget something that happened yesterday. And, you know, who knows if this is going to be something to save his career, if it really needs to be saved, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. It's, props to him for bouncing back strongly. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, I wasn't even really too keen on Coloring Book. So
Jump in there, Terry.
I think what Chance did, he leveraged his popularity and his stardom. And what I mean by that is he was pretty instrumental in Kanye's career for Pablo, Life of Pablo, which a lot of people say is Kanye's last good album.
It is.
And Chance was very instrumental on that album. Despite him dropping that project in 2019 that was lackluster. But I think what worked in his favor is COVID. Because if you think about COVID actually gave everybody a break, essentially. Time kind of stopped for a minute. So those 2 years that happened with COVID kind of washed. Because it's almost like you forget how much time has passed because of COVID. So that kind of worked in his favor as well. He's in front of people on the camera, on the TV shows, and he's lived a life. Like he literally was married, had a kid, got divorced. All of that happened in the span of this 6 years of him being off. So it gave him opportunity to actually have something to talk about worthy of listening ears, and people want to know what's going on. And it was good at the same time. So I think it actually kind of worked in his favor. Now, I can't say that it's going to do that for other artists because other artists haven't been as successful as Chance was coming from the blog era and leveraging his stardom like he was. I mean, I think at one point he was saying he might run for like a political office. Or I know he came from somebody in his family is involved in politics in Chicago, and he's a good speaker.
Sure.
So he has a lot working for him to where he can kind of dip off for a minute and do that. That can't happen for a lot of other artists because they don't have other things to necessarily fall back on. It's only the music that they're making in their artistry, and that's all they have. That's why I think somebody like Chance, it wouldn't have mattered if this was a dud or it was good like it was. I think he still would have been good because if you think about the people that they champion in Chicago, a lot of those artists don't drop albums all the time. But I think Chicago is a place that champions their people. and Chance just so happened to blow up outside of Chicago as well. So yeah.
No, he's loved in the city for sure.
Yeah, I think too, like, this is almost like, I feel like how it should be.
Mhm.
You know, like, artists should be able to take a break to live some life, to be able to talk about some things again. We're just on this like drive, constant be in people's face, always have to talk all the time, but like that doesn't necessarily create good art.
Exactly.
You know, and so like it's cool that he had the capability and the ability to do this, you know, because I think maybe if he didn't have that, he just dropped this project in 2022, you know, it would just been another follow up to The Big Day or whatever it was called. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I always go back to the conversation that, you know, I had a chance to have with Odyssey when he talked about experiencing things and seeing things and then going back into the studio to collab and, you know, referencing certain, you know, things that he learned from, you know, just day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little bit longer, but, you know, he talked about when he travels, just going to sit out in parks and just soak up vibes, which might turn into a record down the road that we didn't even realize was inspired by that. Right. So it kind of took me back to that way of thinking. But to Terry's point, he has the ability to do that and still be straight. And he's very loved in Chicago, so I know it was received well. I mean, I would guess, you know, it would be received pretty well.
But, you know, the thing is with Chance and maybe some of the artists that you might be thinking about is when they, okay, because he has that love and that base in Chicago.
No, for sure.
But, you know, what really winds up having a lot of these artists, you know, kind of freak out or whatever is when you get taken, when the machine, if you will, puts its arm around you. You wind up on The Voice. You wind up hosting Saturday Night Live. You're at the MTV Movie Awards. Beyonce just kind of comes up and hugs you. And then just as quickly as it happens, it's gone. And you're left with nothing but, you know, your life experience and your artistry. And for some people, that's enough because that's what they got into it for. But for some people, it's like, well, where are all the gift baskets? Where are all the invitations? You know, and that's what can really drive you crazy, you know. And I'm not saying this is what happened to this young man, but, you know, I'm not
Chance
sure.
still isn't on a major record.
Right. But, you know, he got little super corporate looks, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say, you know, because I don't know all the details of what happened, but like, you know, you see what's going on with Lil Nas X right now. He still has the longest running #1 that's ever been out. You know, he was able to come out and then all of a sudden he started doing to me what I felt like were troll jobs. You know,
he was shaking his ass, literally.
Yeah.
For a check.
You know, and then, you know, you wonder why sometimes, and then when the attention goes away, and then what you do, and those people who came and embraced you are like, nah, we're good right now. You don't know what that does to a person's mind. Chance, I feel like, was always grounded in something real, despite all the things that he was giving.
It's not a gimmick.
No, I mean, because like I said, he still had a life experience. He still had his family. He still had, you know, his genuine artistry to ground him. You know, what happens so much is when they come in and give you the sponsorship deals and you get seen on the red carpets and you go to the Super Bowl or whatever, and then when all those things are snatched away, that's what drives people crazy.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Chance has too is, although he's living in his truth with his album, he's living in his truth with every album that's came out. I want to say Acid Rap was recorded when he was suspended from school. He was still in high school and was suspended and made that album, which was his standout successful project, which led to where he is now. I don't know what the Big Day, I think that was around the time he got married, maybe. I think that's maybe why he called it the Big Day. I don't know. That album's kind of a blur to me because I don't really know it like that. But even Coloring Book, it was cool. It wasn't like as exceptionally good as Acid Rap, but I'm leaning on this album that just came out now as probably as a whole my favorite Chance project.
I think it's
mine.
You guys think it's the best one?
I'm getting there. I need to listen to it again. But it's got like, it's a solid run of like a lot of songs really good in a row. You know,
and he's talking about some stuff on there. Like at this point, I am very much into substance more than I am vibes.
Absolutely,
that's real.
So
that's real.
If you have actual substance and you're saying things that I may agree with or I may not agree with, you know, I'm here for being challenged with someone's artistry as opposed to just having vibes.
It's both, and this is the thing that I've always been saying for the longest time. It's not just about the vibes. If you can have both, you got the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
The Chance album is a vibe too. You know
No,
what I mean?
because he's got production on there. I'm like, okay, this slaps as well.
Yeah, but I mean, just like the whole aesthetic of it is really
It's
dope.
still a
you know what I
vibe,
mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. No, I'm a fan of it.
Shout out to Chance, man.
I think vibe gets a bad look just because people use it so much.
Yeah.
So like when you think of vibe, a lot of time it's like everybody just leans on vibe
It's been
as
co-opted.
being exactly as being the answer. So I get exactly what you're saying.
Yep.
But yeah, the Chance album is solid. I like
It's
it.
super woke, man.
You know,
I hate how they did woke, man. The woke sabotage is crazy.
Yeah.
But
That
yeah.
is a real thing too. People will throw that mug out there. It's
But I'm
just too
saying,
woke,
like,
man.
but
It's like
vibe
it's-
kind of has
woke,
been
vibe,
vibe's
black
been
fatigue,
co-opted
all
too.
there.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like
It's
it's as bastardized as as woke
It is in a different way.
Yeah.
Like
I think they're
back
close.
when you were dropping cloud vibes.
Yeah.
It's got a completely different
Yeah.
connotation
Yes,
now. Now
yes.
everybody's like, "Oh, it's the thing to say, so I'm
Yeah.
going to do it." It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let me find another word now.
Yeah.
You'll
Sons
see
of
woke.
bitches.
You'll see woke anywhere. People use woke
yeah, but
every day.
it's used against the culture now.
Wokeism.
Wokeism.
What is wokeism?
At least vibe is still a good thing.
It can
You
be.
know what I'm saying?
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a vibe, bro. It's just a vibe that can be taken.
Well, a lot of times
Me-
people
me
use
Like,
Either
don't
way.
worry about the lyrics. It's a
Yeah,
vibe.
they
that could be
say
taken
vibe
many
when they
ways.
can't explain the exact emotion
It
that
feels good.
that it's evoking. So I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. It's cool.
Feels good.
That's a dope thing to fall back onto. I can't describe it, man. It's just a vibe. You hear that a lot. So,
Yeah, man.
hey.
Creepy vibes.
Yeah, it's a different kind of vibes.
Good vibes.
I love them creepy vibes.
No, you don't. No, you don't. We're gonna edit that. No, you don't.
Da, 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 da.
All right, man. Let's
We.
let's go ahead and pivot to the next topic. We're gonna go the OG route this time. We're gonna pivot and talk about some legendary, older legends. This is one of my favorites right here. My homie Erick Sermon, who I don't know. I say that a lot too, but I don't
You
know these
love
people.
calling people the
I
homie.
do, man. I gotta stop saying that because I do not know Eric Onassis. I do not. But I am a fan. So Erick Sermon's dropping a dynamic duos album. It's supposed to be packed with features, tons of features. But is it a recipe for success or a disaster waiting to happen? You gotta remember how things are perceived now with the OGs, and everybody don't land the same way. So Erick Sermon is finally making good. He made a promise about 10 years ago about making this project, a passion project designed to put hip hop's most iconic collaborators on the same record. The lineup is pretty crazy. It's got Nate Dogg, Biggie, Tupac, Mobb Deep, Clips.
A lot of dead people, huh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
what
stands
is-
out to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, keep going. My bad.
Yeah, let's get to this.
I really,
Hey, man.
I'm just saying, like,
He said whatever else
but
is
I know
saying.
what he's saying though. I know
Yeah.
what he's
I
saying.
mean,
Yeah.
Sean Price is on there too. I'm just saying.
So it's Wayne, P, Styles P, Jada, Jay Electronica, The Game, UGK, Public Enemy, 38 Special, Conway the Machine. I see Meth on here, Sean Price, Freeway, PD Crack, even the Dog Pound, Cypress Hill, Snoop. These all have been confirmed features on this project. Now, to your point, it's a lot of that. What you said, I agree.
this
A
is
lot of
rem-
brokered beats.
See,
or
that's the part
brokered,
That's exactly.
versus-
Man, that's the first thing that came to my mind. It's like this
Yeah.
sounds like one of them brokered albums, and
Hey,
I hope it's not.
And y'all beat me to it because I
Well,
know
for
that's what
for
you
the
were
people
thinking.
who aren't alive, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check this out. Considering Erick Sermon's history, in the current hip hop landscape, does this concept of dynamic duos, the album, does it feel timely and relevant, or is it a nostalgic play that might fall flat?
I'll
if
be
you
honest,
had to
I'd
take a
say
pick.
It's a nostalgic play that has a very, very much a chance of falling flat. I mean, I did hear some names on there, like I hear 38 Special.
That's
I hear
dope. Mhm.
some of the names from Griselda. That's something that I can get excited about. I don't want to hear any more Notorious B.I.G. verses in any
No.
way, shape, or form.
No.
Okay, and that's just
I don't want to hear no Tupac either.
I don't want to
Nah.
hear that. I mean, I want to. If they didn't sign off on it, at this point, both of those men have been dead longer than they've been alive. Longer than the time they've been alive, which is sad when you think about it. But we have to honor their legacy, but we do have to. We got to move on.
They've been gone damn near 30 years.
Yeah.
They died in 96 and 97.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's sometimes it's just hard for me to listen to records I feel like are pieced together. I feel like there are so many people here who are still alive. So when I hear Cypress Hill, I hope that's Be
new.
Real and Send Dog are in the studio together.
That's true.
After I'm not sure what they're doing in individual lives. I know Be Real's got a podcast, just like everybody else.
Everybody does. Yeah.
But it's so hard to get people. Life be lifing. Sometimes it's hard for Eric and Parrish to get down together, even to get a check. So I think the nostalgia play, it's great for some of this, but some of it is like, man, let's just let our legends rest and let's continue to make art with people who are here. I think there's just too many people who are here for us to be continually pulling at licensed verses or reusing a Biggie verse from a B-side. I just don't want to hear none of that. I don't know. There are some people who probably feel very differently. They'll take whatever from Notorious B.I.G. Like I remember, like Faith Evans put out a record called The King and I, which is all her singing and Biggie verses. And I just, I love both of them. I love Faith Evans, but I just wasn't here for it.
Yeah.
So I can be excited because I'm a fan of Erick Sermon. I've always, I love
Always been a
EPMD.
fan.
I love his individual solo work, but I'm more excited to hear people I haven't heard in a while, and people like Styles P who are still out here grinding and doing their thing. The nostalgia play with people who aren't here anymore. That's the only thing about this that perhaps turns me off. And like I said, I may be the only one, but that's how I feel.
Lone, I want to ask you. I'm gonna flip it for you. What concerns you more? Piecing together dat tape verses and whatever this might be, or the production, the how the production matches with what they're doing, because one of these has a potential to be very bad, or maybe both. And we talking about one of our favorite producers. I know how you get down with Erick Sermon.
Sure.
But what scares you the most about this project in terms of those two sides?
I just don't like the piece together.
Just as a whole.
It's just like,
Yeah.
Now look, my ear is different. Your ear is different. Our ear is different, right? Not everybody, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hear this. And, look, there are a lot of YouTube channels that put out, for a long time, they would put out, Tupac featuring Kanye West, and people will be like, man, this is dope. And not even realizing that it's somebody else's beat and it's splicing these things together, right? I see that immediately. I'm like, dislike.
Yeah, also, I know you're somebody who can hear the difference in how the vocals are engineered.
Sure. That as well. So I guess when I listen to this, I'm like, no, this is not what, when we say we want our legends to come back strong and to make music in this type of, this is not what we say. This is not what we're asking for. I'm asking for, again, this is me, right? But I'm asking for Erick Sermon to do records with Mick Jenkins and do records with Joey Badass and to do records with Method Man and Redman because they're still making music, and to make music with people that are still Ghostface and legends that are at that time. I don't want to hear no Biggie's verse from 1996 on some new Erick Sermon production. Let the legends rest. Let the legends live in their how they should live. You know what I mean? Like some of these songs, maybe they're new, but the contrast of what the new is going to sound like versus what the old is going to sound, it's going to sound old, man.
You'll be able to hear.
It's setting himself up to fail, in my opinion. And like, just, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. No. And I hope that I'm wrong. When I say maybe I'm wrong, maybe he'll prove me wrong. And I hope that he does.
I'm with you on the I hope I'm wrong, but I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah.
Go ahead, jump in.
It's just an outdated model, man. It's like, I don't want to hear the Biggie duets again, because even how that was matched up, and there was actually some cuts on there, but at that point in time, I'm still a recovering Biggie fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan that just lost one of the artists that I looked up to. The same way with Pac. All the stuff that came out with Pac, some of it I couldn't get into because it wasn't mastered. So it's like, I don't even want to listen to that. I know he didn't authorize it, but that Outlaws album was fire.
Are you still down?
Are you still No,
no, those are two separate
No,
albums.
you're thinking of Still I Rise.
Yeah.
Still I Rise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Still I Rise.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Still
sorry.
I Rise. Are You Still Down? It sounded like it wasn't a Pac album. Again, there was some cuts on there, but it wasn't a Pac album. A lot of these artists just aren't what I'm checking for as far as an old verse that's being recycled and pieced together with somebody else. I think we even had brought up a conversation with Mass Appeal dropping another, was it a Mobb Deep project?
Yeah.
Big L. Mobb
Big
Deep.
L.
Yeah, Big L.
Big L.
I
and
think
Mobb Deep.
what's his name from Mobb Deep?
Havoc.
Havoc is dropping an album on there. But like even Big L, like I don't need to hear
No.
Big L right now. I mean, what he's talking about isn't relevant to today's time. And that's not saying that he doesn't have anything to say, but at that point in time we were listening to it back then, it made so much more sense than to try to drop it now and then maybe even add an AI flip on top of it to make it sound like it's current. I don't want to hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, if he wants to drop an album, like you said, with these newer artists, take the Alchemist route. Alchemist has remained relevant through what were we on 3 or 4 decades now,
Right.
as
Sure.
far as him being able to consistently produce at a high level and stay with the artists that are coming up in that level, that era. I mean, so I feel like Erick should be able to do the same thing, and this is just an outdated situation that it just doesn't work anymore. Nobody's buying physical copies. All you're gonna do is stream these songs, and of course you're not gonna be upset. He's not in a position to where it's gonna make or break him if this isn't successful.
Oh, no, he's straight.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's just like, I'm kind of cool on that old method of putting things out.
You know, the crazy thing is not really crazy, but this is still 5-6 years ago, which was still a lot of time far removed from, us losing the Notorious B.I.G. There was something that was kind of retrofitted with, Diddy and Rick Ross. And when
The Biggie duets.
no, this is something after that.
Mhm.
And I think it was, they took the verse from You'll See, because they were able to take some of those mixtape songs and retrofit them. And it was just like, you hear Biggie, rapping about pagers and VCRs in the Suburban. And it's like, like liquor we don't drink anymore, cars that, we don't drive anymore. And it's like, I just couldn't get into it.
Riding
it just,
around in the
if anything,
Miata.
if anything, it just made me kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if they just like released an unreleased record from 1996, but to try to like release something brand new in 2025 is just.
I'd rather hear unreleased.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it, man. And to me, this is just not the look for Erick either. Like, I just feel.
There are
I don't
plenty of
know,
new
man.
artists who would still love to work with Erick.
I feel like we've had this
forced.
conversation.
But that
That's what I'm
would-
saying. This
but
is
that
like
would-
a forced situation to me.
That would be
Okay.
way
Yeah.
more intriguing to me is to hear, to piece Erick Sermon up with some of these kids out here that are now.
And he's
that are
working with
popping
some
now.
people,
Sure.
but still, it's
That
like,
would excite me because I know I have the faith in him that he can update it to make it sound good. Plus, some of the mixes that, when you fuse two, certain artists with him, that excites me.
Do
I'm
a new
curious
Def
as-
Squad album.
Something like that.
You know what I'm
People-
saying?
But again, to his point, the dynamic duos, the idea behind the album is to put hip hop's most iconic collaborators on the same record. And
That kind of tells you what it's going to be.
yeah,
Right.
man, I'm honestly, I'm not interested.
A
I mean,
hodgepodge
but-
of mess.
yeah, but if you said, okay, I got a new record with Redman and Keith Murray, I got a new song with Ghost and Ray, I got a new song with Be Real and Sen Dog, okay, dope.
That's
But,
different.
But if you're talking about, like, I don't want those on the same project with things that are pieced together from, some of the legends that we've lost, because it would make it, to me, it make it seem like it would be kind of disjointed. It would take me out of whatever it is you're trying to accomplish.
I would
Might as well
much
just make a
rather
mixtape.
I would much rather hear Erick Sermon and Benny the Butcher do 8 records. I'd much rather hear that. Or Conway or whoever. Mick Jenkins, like Lone said, we just throwing names out there, but Currency, I don't care. I'd much rather hear that than, I guess, the idea of what this is going to be. But like
It's
I said,
almost
I
like-
hope I'm wrong.
It's
I
almost
hope
like
I'm wrong.
Conway and them have become the poster child to go and get to try to make relevant. Like they were on the DMX album too.
True.
And the DMX album actually wasn't bad because I believe a lot of that was actually recorded before he passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a situation to where they're just sitting on a whole bunch of music.
Just like Mac Miller's Balloonerism and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, I'm cool with that. Like even there was a Marvin Gaye album that came out a few years back that actually was recorded, but it was shelved because the political kind of connotation behind it, and they finally released it like years and years later. That type of situation, like if it was actually recorded by the artist and all you did was remaster to kind of make it sound a little bit polished, but it's the exact same thing, I'm good with that. But like
same.
When you're trying to manufacture this verse into what's going on today, I'm just cool on that.
But you know what? And now that you bring that up, this is where I'm going to shoot Erick Sermon a little bail. Not that he needs any from me.
Yeah.
You know, when you bring up Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
you know, hey, Erick Sermon did Just Like Music.
Yeah.
You know,
Fire.
And, you know, and crazy when I was to whoever, you know, I know people get tired of me talking about when I worked in radio, but whatever. It is what it is. That's my life. There was actually a version of that music that didn't have Erick Sermon on it. It was just sounded like a new Marvin Gaye song because, you know, if you worked at an urban AC station, they didn't want any kind of rap. They didn't care what context it was. So if he can make that work, maybe I can shoot him some bail on making this work.
Yeah, that was a solid piece for me. I still play that to this day.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. I don't know.
But again, it's not sticking a Biggie verse talking about pagers and Genesis and Super Nintendos and the Nautica Jeep and van. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it's not even about the music. Like I don't even care if it's good. I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
it's just like the principle of it. Like
it's
I just don't. I'm just not here for it.
It's
like,
all of it, man. It's like, and I can guarantee you, these aren't new verses from Biggie or Tupac that we've never heard.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way with Dilla stuff. Like if he's rapping, I don't need you to, you know what I'm saying, put his verse on something.
Yeah.
Now, if there's unreleased beats that he's had, I wouldn't mind listening to it.
I would love
but
to
in
hear
the
those.
same time, it's not something that I'm gonna get excited for because you're just manufacturing it to try to make it make sense for now versus what it was when it was supposed to be out.
It's just like let it live, man.
Yeah.
Let it live where it was supposed to live.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one too because although these artists aren't hip hop, Michael Jackson and Prince both are sitting on lots of music right now. They're gone. How do y'all feel about if that music were released to the public?
I am 100% ready to go because they recorded it. It's just been sitting on the shelves. I'm 100% ready to go. I'm ready. With them two, I'm ready.
I think it just kind of depends.
I think if they present it in context, was like, okay, this was the demo. Like I've heard a lot of the Michael Jackson demos, the things that he was working on for specifically Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Thriller was originally a song called Starlight.
Yeah.
You know, and I would love to hear a mixed and mastered version of that. I would love to hear the original. You know, there was like a very kind of smooth PYT. Like not the PYT's not smooth, but there's a completely different version of that.
Slow it down version.
I want to hear Lady in My Life with the verses that are taken out because, you know, they couldn't get it on vinyl to not make it to where it wouldn't sound like trash, you know? So when you put things in that kind of context, yes, I'd love to hear those. Like Prince had stuff in the vault,
you
know, that I don't think he ever intended for people to ever hear. He just
that's
was
what I
doing
want to hear.
And that's to me why I said it depends. Because
that's
like,
why I don't want Prince was different because he did these things on his own. I don't know if I really am interested in hearing the things that he had locked away for a reason. You know, with Michael, there might have been a political decision. It might have been like, okay, this is going to be better for radio. We have to take this verse out because we can't press it on vinyl. Those are different decisions than I feel like what Prince was trying to do artistically.
Maybe.
But
at the same time, like I just think about myself, right? And I think about all the stuff that I just have sitting that is not out. And it's a lot of music. And is some of the stuff in there good? Yeah, a lot of it is, I think. Is some of the stuff not quite finished? Sure. Do I want anybody else to make that decision for me? No, I don't. You know, like that's the stuff that I put out there is my legacy. And so like it takes a very special part. Now, would I be okay with like people that I know listening to my stuff? Sure. Do I want everybody to necessarily listen to it? That's different. You know, like, I don't know. I think sometimes like from the fandom, depending on the artist that it is like, yeah, we're super excited. Just like the Mac Miller stuff, you know, like that was a plan. You know what I mean? Like that
was already emotion.
You know, like, and that stuff I can get behind, you know, if it's just not quite finished, but stuff that's tucked away, that's in the vaults, that's on the hard drives, that wasn't fully materialized, didn't fully reach something. I don't know, man. I lean towards no.
What makes me think about what you just said is, in my mind, the fan in me says 12 records that Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones did that nobody's heard, sign me up. The flip side to that is Quincy is gone now.
Yeah.
And he died in his 90s. And I'm like, these didn't come out for a reason.
Yeah, that's the piece.
So that's the part, that's the gray area part.
Yeah.
Because
he also wasn't an artist that was hurting for anything.
At all.
So gotta kind of put that into play too. But I agree with you from an artist point of view, how you feel about it not coming out. Now, the curveball, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
We know he's sitting on a lot of stuff too.
Is he?
He's absolutely
Killer
sitting
Mike
on stuff.
Said it. Yeah, he said it.
I know he's sitting on some things, but as a lot.
As a fan, if I could endure the Flute album, whatever he has on any kind of hard drive, whatever, I would be happy to listen to it.
Yeah.
You know
So would I.
But I think that's the difference between like the ethical aspects of things. It's like, would I be interested in hearing that? Sure. In the same way that I would be interested in hearing like everything that Fonte did, because he's like my favorite artist, you know, like
I sign up for that too.
Same like Flying Lotus. Give me all the demos.
Yeah.
Which he's released a lot of them. Give me like, there's certain artists that, I just want to hear them, you know, like, but I don't think I would ever be upset if I never got to,
no.
You know, and I wouldn't want it to negatively tarnish, you know, like, you know,
is it fair to say, Lone, that, and this is coming off what you just said, is it fair to say that there are some artists that have passed the threshold of being tarnished?
I don't know what that means.
What I'm saying is, how you gonna tarnish Michael Jackson if some stuff come out this bad?
I don't think
he can be tarnished.
See, when you say that, I mean, I don't think they've already created their legacy. They've already given you what they wanted to give you. So I don't think anything that's unreleased is going to have a bias on the artist regardless of what comes out, because it's not finished. That's just like saying just because you found Da Vinci's sketchbook, you're judging his sketchbook off the big pieces, mass pieces that he built. You know what I'm saying?
Like Sistine Chapel wasn't all that.
Yeah.
Is that Da Vinci? I might be wrong. I don't know.
It's one of the ninja.
Yeah, it's Michelangelo. Yeah.
One of the ninja.
This is why we talk about music and not art.
I don't see, the thing is I don't look at it from that lens though. Like I'm not looking at it from like a potential of tarnishing a legacy.
Nah.
I don't think that if people are releasing Dilla tapes that aren't supposed to be public, that it tarnishes his legacy.
Not to me.
I've had Dilla tapes that are unreleased for 2 decades.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I've heard them, but I don't, it doesn't tarnish his legacy. I think it disrespects his legacy when people push it out and they try to profit off of it and do things of that nature. It's just like those that know that were lucky enough to be around, to be a part of it, to hear it, or the family members or friends and stuff like that. I feel like that's a kind of a sacred thing. You know what I mean? And
that's fair.
So I don't really think it's a tarnished thing. I just think it's I just don't like it.
Unless, like, as an artist, do you think an artist kind of grows into a position as an artist that if I were to pass away or if I'm gone, what my estate does with my stuff that's left over, as long as they do it within reason, I'm good with?
I think it depends on the person personally.
Yeah.
You know, like if I entrusted my stuff into somebody that I could trust,
then
I think it's maybe a little bit different, you know, like, but I'm not going to entrust it into somebody who's just like, I wouldn't trust my catalog into my wife. I love my wife.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the musical ear that I would want to be able to curate to go through some stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know, I think it just kind of depends on what that is, you know, and you know, like you said, the Quincy thing. If Quincy Jones was behind putting out some Michael Jackson records that they worked on, honestly, I don't think I would have a problem with that. You know, because he was a part of that creative process.
That's what I'm talking about.
It just depends on like what it is. But I don't want somebody that isn't a part of like that wasn't a part of that integral piece of what that person was to have any type of control over that.
It's kind of like those people that are, you get releases from the people that are over the estate.
Yeah.
That doesn't hit the same as when Quincy drops it. You see what I'm saying? To your point about what you said, those are two totally different things.
Yeah.
100%.
Even with Dilla's situation, I mean, I know his mom is
mom is still alive, yeah.
I even bought one of the records out of his collection.
Yeah.
Just because the estate put him up for sale. It was like just something cool to have a piece of Dilla's collection.
And we know that goes back to his mama.
Yeah, that goes back to her, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, regardless of how well revered he was to us, Dilla's career wasn't filled with millions and millions of dollars.
It was cut short.
Yeah,
very short.
So,
definitely realized.
Yeah, so that's kind of warranted or granted. I get that, but like, her kind of releasing his music may not have the same effect as like if you know some of Slum Village or Common or Erykah Badu or the Soul Aquariums are going through and like, well, I think we just should release this pocket
like
of
Questlove did for a time, and House Shoes has been a part of that to some degree too. You know, so I think it just depends. I think it's very, very much. It's not a catch-all thing. I think it's very specific on like, you want somebody to be in control of your legacy that understands your legacy is not going to, you know, pour you out.
That understands your legacy and also knows you.
Sure.
Yeah, because quite honestly, there's some posthumous Michael Jackson records.
Come on.
I want no parts of.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
If
even LL Cool J, they got one together. He said, nah, we don't need to release that.
Which tells me everything I need to know about them records. Because we probably
he said they got a few together because I think they were going to do like some kind of joint situation.
Yeah, I know Run DMC they were in the studio for the Bad sessions. And it just, you know, it wasn't a thing. I think it might have been the same time as LL Cool J, but it just wasn't something that probably would have worked. Just like when I heard, I think I talked about it on the show, where Bat Dance came out. Everybody remembers how crazy that was in '89. But, you know, Cold Chillin' was through Warner Brothers.
6.
And Big Daddy Kane had like
a verse or something.
A Bat Dance remix.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And I'll be honest, that shit is terrible.
Yeah, I'm cool.
It wouldn't have worked on any level.
Nah.
And I'm glad it did. It was something, okay, it was cool to hear, but I'm glad it didn't come out because I would think less of both Batman, Big Daddy Kane, and Prince if it came out at the time.
Straight up. I'm good on that. I can't even imagine hearing that. I'm glad I've never heard it. I don't want to hear it.
It's crazy. There's a chorus like, go Batman.
Oh, my God.
Go Batman. I was like, oh, this shit is awful.
Nah, man.
Yep.
He on there rapping like Vanilla Ice
man, it's bad.
And the Pizza Hut Ninja Turtles album and shit.
That might be better.
Yeah, damn.
That mug went though. I ain't saying it was cold. I ain't saying it was cold. I'm saying it was successful. It was very successful. Y'all was outside.
Go Ninja.
I mean, I bought it.
It was very successful.
No, I mean, because we liked it. We loved the Turtles. Though.
Yeah. It was about the Turtles, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. We weren't a fan of Vanilla Ice when that scene happened. It was just
you
like,
understand.
It was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Vanilla Ice was doing his thing, but the Turtles.
Yeah, man.
Talk about a one-hit wonder, man.
He had a couple,
maybe
didn't
two.
He?
No, we talked about this when Jay Brooks was here one time. There was more than one hit.
Yeah, he had a few. Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member. All details on newoldheads.com.
We had an old school theme on the last topic. We're going to stay old school, but this is a little bit different. So, years after their feud, Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel are dropping a joint project. Question is, are we buying this reunion? You know, we know their history. Mm-hmm. So Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel are putting decades of lyrical warfare behind them to team up on a collaboration album titled Kiss the Mac. With longtime
That's a terrible title.
That's what it says. Kiss the Mac. With longtime Philadelphia staple Freeway serving as executive producer. So Freeway is going to executive produce this project.
All right.
The project is slated for 2025 release. It reunites these two hip hop veterans who once traded some serious diss tracks. We were outside. We remember the radio station. We remember all that.
I actually don't.
I remember that. Now I was up.
I don't. I know this is news to me. I must have missed this.
Oh,
one.
it was serious. Oh, it was bad. It was serious.
It was during
what years?
Since like 2000, 2001.
It's back when Jay-Z and Nas were going at each other around the same time.
It was everybody against Rockefeller.
I think I was in college when this was going on. 02, 03.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily
is it that
decades of lyrical warfare.
No, they
it was
pieced
like
it up.
Yeah, they've kind of been cool for a long time.
I know, but it was heavy though for
about
a while.
3-4 years.
It was about 3-4 years. It was,
Yeah.
Those mixtapes were very disrespectful.
Yeah.
100%. But I'm not mad at Freeway being executive producer. I don't know. I know he knows both of them well. That doesn't mean he's going to make the beats. For those paying attention at home, it just means he's going to oversee. So we'll see how that goes. But is this Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel collaboration? Is this genuine reconciliation, or is it just a business move?
No,
strategic business move.
Like I said, they've actually been cool and in each other's space for a while now. I actually seen. So Beanie Sigel has a food truck. This was like a couple years ago where Jadakiss actually went on the food truck and was helping serve the food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this isn't anything that's far fetched to me. My whole thing, just give me good music, man. I'm cool on anybody linking up if they were feuding, whatever. Beanie Sigel and Jadakiss, Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs. Give me good music.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's all I really care about. Nothing more, nothing less.
That's exactly how I feel.
And I think this is the opposite of the patchwork conversation we had in the previous topic. These guys are alive and well. They're gonna get in the studio. They probably have already recorded records.
Yeah,
I mean, what about Beanie Sigel's voice?
Yeah. Like,
is
this going to be an AI situation?
But here's my thing, though. We talked about this. This was a while back.
Yeah,
multiple episodes back, where I said myself, just my personal opinion, because of Beanie's situation with his lungs and like his lungs and stuff like that, I don't mind him because he's still going to write his lyrics. So if that assists him as he records records with Kiss, I'm not mad at that. For me, I'm not mad at that. He has a legit situation that he's dealing with, and he's still writing his bars.
Mm-hmm.
And not typed to a computer. I'm good with that if he uses that. I'm not mad at it.
Okay. No,
I'm not.
No, I mean, because I was a super Beanie Sigel fan, you know, when he hit the streets.
Me too.
You know, so
he was my favorite on the rock.
Yeah.
No, Long used to play Beanie Sigel. The Truth album. I remember.
The Truth, like one of my favorite Jay-Z records was a Beanie Sigel record with Raw and Uncut. I used to play that like I was getting paid to do it. But I am excited to hear this because I still like Jadakiss's records. I was a fan of anything that Jadakiss and she can, I hear there's might be another Woo Block album that comes out.
I heard about that.
I still get excited when artists of that ilk and of that age, if you will, talking about putting out new music. You know, like I said, I don't know the condition of Beanie's voice, if there's going to be AI assistant involved, as long as he's writing the bars, like, I know this is going to be a situation where he may not be able to perform, but if we still get the records and it's still that hardcore, like, vibe that I enjoyed so very much when The Truth and The Reason came out, like, to me, those are two classic records we don't talk enough about.
Sure.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Beanie Sigel, just with all the other things he was going through, winds up being underrated, and all the things that happened when Rockefeller broke up. It was like, okay, well, where's Beanie? Like, Beanie kind of got lost in the shuffle. So
I'm kind of got in his own way.
Yeah, he got in his own way. There are things that, that hurt him that were maybe self-inflicted, but I'm excited. If I can get new Beanie Sigel bars, I'm here for it.
Lone, how does this hit different? Does this?
I don't know. Look, I'm a fan of Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel, obviously.
Right.
I don't know how these two artists are going to sound in 2025.
Together
And with the productions that they select, because they are two artists that are very much of a very specific era where they excelled. And there are also two artists that I haven't really heard a lot of.
Kiss been around.
Yeah, he's been dropping.
Kiss
some
been
stuff.
around.
Yeah, but kind of.
You might not have been checking for it, but Kiss been around.
I'm not saying he's not been around. I'm just saying like Kiss hasn't moved the needle on anything in a very, very long time.
Now the needle is different. I'll give you that. The needle is different.
Like if we're talking about just two guys that are making some records, then yeah, okay, maybe. But if we're talking about like what can it sound like now, I don't want this to sound like 2003.
What if I told you that I believe that these two artists in particular, although they come from an era or a time capsule that you're speaking about, I feel like they are more open to having this sound like the updated version of that. I have confidence in them to do that.
I don't have confidence in anything until I see it.
That's
so,
fair.
I
believe it though. I believe it.
Share me a record. Like let me see what it sounds like. To me, it depends on who's producing it.
True.
If it's Jake One, that'll be interesting.
With with Freeway involved.
What if some of the homies come back? Just Blaze come back?
What's Just Blaze sound like now?
Yeah, I haven't heard Just Blaze in a minute.
I would say it would be good.
I don't know. I haven't heard Just Blaze. I haven't heard Just in a very long time.
Kanye's not the same guy.
No, I'm kidding. No, we ain't gonna use.
We haven't heard Just Blaze since what? Exhibit C.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, that's so long ago. I mean, like
if it sounds like Exhibit C, that still would stretch.
There
you know
you
what I
go.
mean, and stuff like that. But I think it just depends on what it sounds like. Like whoever is Freeway is in charge of executive producing this. It depends on where Freeway's ear is at.
That is a good point.
If Freeway's in 2003 or 2002, then the people that really love that and want that nostalgic sound from that era are going to love it. I'm just going to be like, it's cool, and I'm probably going to move on from it.
Because you know what, Lon? I feel like they have a chance to debunk that, what we're talking about, because it is a real thing when we always talk about updated kits or whatever. There's two sides of it. So these guys have a chance to do it, execute it with the updated sound, or to your point, it can be a time capsule joint that sounds outdated. So to me, that's what I'm intrigued by. I'm curious to see which side of this are we going to get. I personally believe we're going to be on the other side, but I could be wrong.
Just give me good music.
Give me good music, man.
I can't think of the last time that I heard a new Jadakiss record, and I mean, I'm sure that they exist.
I had to look it up, but
but
now mind you, that was still now 5 years ago.
But
Project was good
I
too.
know that he's been doing stuff, but when I think of Jadakiss, I immediately go to 2000 to 2003, 2004 in that era.
Damn.
And so
I give him a little more credit than that.
I still give him the credit for
the
records the Locks have put out.
But I'm not mad at Lone because I think
and once again, Woo Block.
But I think Lone.
I didn't like Woo Block.
But I think Lone outside
I wasn't a big fan of that either.
Lone is speaking for the people that are outside of the people that are tapped in. I think the way he's sounding is a general consensus. When people think about Kiss,
he's been on some fire features, especially since the Verses.
Yeah,
Verses kind of reignited.
That gave him a spark.
Jadakiss's career, because people heard like, damn, he was really rapping, and sounding good. So that kind of led to some features. But to your point, and this is gonna sound crazy, but Jadakiss does not have a classic album as a whole.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think I could spot a bad Jadakiss verse.
No, he's very
what I mean?
like he's
but he doesn't have any duds either.
No, he doesn't have any duds. He has albums that I rock with and I can listen to, but there's skips on those albums. I don't think as a whole he has a classic album.
Yeah, but
he's still an elite lyricist.
Absolutely,
he's the rare person that's a all-time great classic MC without a classic.
Yeah, I'm just very curious about this whole I'd just be very curious how the project is curated.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes from just being an MC, I don't have any doubts about Jadakiss. When it comes about being an MC with Beanie, I have no doubts about that either. It's more so about what does the project sound like?
Don't make it sound like it's rushed or we just had to give y'all something because now we can start promoting it, and so I got to give you something. Yeah,
I don't want make a deadline.
Yeah, I don't want that. The thing that where Clip succeeded was. They're using, we already know who Pharrell is. Pharrell has not faded into obscurity, and you had Pusha T that was creating solo joints, and Malice that was doing the same thing, just not in the secular world. what led to them being successful and coming together and doing it. For one, they was already a group, and then they're working with the same producer they worked with back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Which was a plus for them. With Jadakiss and Beanie, it's more so, okay, Jada was in a group with the Locks, but he had a lot. I feel like he had more success as a solo artist. Jadakiss was, not Jadakiss, but Beanie was always a single artist.
Beanie.
Didn't I say that?
You said Beanie.
Did I say Beanie? All right, my bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, he's a featured. Beanie was always crazy. You know what I'm saying? Anytime he was featured, I remember at one point in time, it was supposed to be a Beans and Bleak situation going on because of their 1-2. So
there was supposed to be a Mac and Brad.
Yeah,
Scarface.
Yeah.
Would have been
That was
great.
going to be crazy.
That would be crazy. But I don't know, man. I'm interested to hear a project by them together, but at the same time, I can't say that I'm 100% excited to hear it.
I'll wait till a song drops.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one of those things where I feel like there's potential there, though. You know, like this could be really good.
I mean, what I don't want is, and this is just me I'm taking all the other hats off, just the consumer. What I don't want is Beanie and Kiss to be rapping over trap beats trying to get.
No.
I don't want that.
No, that's not gonna happen.
I don't need that. I don't want that. You can remove yourself from who you were and still not go completely to the other side. To me, that's going to be corny if y'all come out and start rapping over stuff like that. It's not going to hit the same. So that's my one concern. Like, don't let people talk you into doing something that you know is not you. Because that happens a
Jada's
lot.
not going to let nobody talk him into nothing.
I agree with you.
If you watch the Jada and Joe show, Joe be on there talking cash and Jada be like, nah, I'm cool with everything you saying, B. Yeah, you ain't about to talk him into that.
Yeah, I like Jada a lot, man.
Yeah.
Joe be lying too, so
man.
There's that.
But then this is the thing: something will happen, and someone will confirm one of Joe's stories, and be like, "Damn, come on."
Nah.
But yeah, I don't think. Once again, these are veterans at this point, and I don't think you can do anything to talk them out of their position and be like, "No, go ahead and here, get Ice Spice on the hook or whatever."
That ain't going.
No, that's not gonna happen.
So, what do you guys think about the concept of this reunion kind of signifying rappers setting aside their past differences and stuff to create ventures or projects or certain things moving forward?
I mean,
could this be an example? Or
just as long as it's not forced, man. I'm cool on people just doing stuff just to be doing it. But this isn't anything new.
That's
true. You had the whole Nas and Jay-Z situation where was it Nas' show when he brought out Jay-Z or Jay-Z when he brought out Nas?
This I declare war thing.
I declare war.
That was
Plus
Jay-Z bringing out Nas.
Plus they
them
did Black
squashing the
Republican.
situation. Yeah. I mean, this isn't anything new, man. I mean,
it's growth.
Yeah. This doesn't again make me want to listen to something just because somebody's cool. I just want good.
At the same time, look, all you older rappers, like if you're not ready to come back out, don't let the fact that the clips came back out put a battery in your back.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like Rodney O, Joe Cooley, like if you're not ready to come back out, don't come back out. You know,
keep getting them residuals.
Rex in Effect, whoever. Like if you're not ready to come out, don't come back out just because you think there's a wave of rappers in their late 40s and early 50s who are able to make an impact on the
difference
culture.
is they never stop. Once they came out, they never stopped rapping.
No, I got you. But like this is there's probably some people like sitting down talking to their wives and kids, like, yo, I could get back out there.
You trying to hear that new Nice and Smooth album?
Look, Greg Nice got a record out right now, and I like it.
You know what's crazy? Kwame got some new shit coming out.
I know,
and it don't sound bad.
It don't sound bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, maybe this is a wave, but I'm saying some of y'all need to talk to your people before you jump back in that booth.
I think the clips are deceiving, man. And not that they didn't earn what they did, but you can't use that as your example. Pharrell is still super, whether it be fashion or however you want to call it, he's still been producing Disney movies and all that type of stuff. Pusha, like Terry said, Pusha and Malice still been rapping. So with them already being legendary together prior to this, and then Pharrell still being who he is, that's not the norm. Like some of these people that we're talking about, they don't have that producer that's still here that can help make this that.
Some people,
I don't
some
think
people
so.
don't see the pieces like that. They
Yeah.
just see, okay, I'm 50. That doesn't mean I can't jump back out here and get in the game.
True.
And
True.
God bless you if you still think you have it to get back out here. Maybe you do, but I don't want anybody. It's kind of like when I can't even think of an athletic situation.
Read the room.
When you know, that's because I try to tie the things
Colin
together with
Kaepernick?
sport. Might be. But like if you try to get out here, you sat out 5 years and you try to get back out here and still think you can do what you do. Like, no, you realize there's been 5 drafts since then.
Everybody can't be George Foreman.
Michael Jordan when he came back.
Yeah. You know,
He switched back to that 23 though and got right to it.
no, I'm talking about what
Are you talking about
Wizards.
Wizards?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wizards.
that's different.
Yeah.
Mike still kind of had the Pharrell kit though, because he Mike though. So it really,
That shit was weak.
he still
man.
had that Pharrell
Yeah, but
kit.
it was
shit was
the
weak.
kit didn't get him to the playoffs.
Well, they were still selling out.
I mean, it's Michael Jordan.
It's Michael
Exactly.
Jordan.
That's the Pharrell kit.
Because it's the same thing to where, like, when we still thought 57-year-old Mike Tyson could get in there and just maul somebody.
Yeah, that might have been staged, but
I think it was too.
It
100%
may
think
have
that
been,
was
but like you got to realize, you know,
He
your
beat
favorite-
that boy up. And
your
they let him-
favorite boxer, his best years were between like maybe
30 years ago.
19 and 31, and we expected somebody who was 57.
he was
to
at
get
the,
out there
he
and
was at
get-
the height of his career when Biggie and Tupac died.
That's true.
He so was.
So
Yo, the disrespect
Now,
in this
kid.
show is this episode is crazy.
So I'm just saying, like that's it's that thing to where like sometimes like if you go to the big if you ever watch the Big Three,
Yeah, I do.
and you know like they look good playing against other people who are in that age group who have retired from the NBA. But if you try to be like, hey man, I think he still got it.
No, he don't have it.
No.
I don't know, Lance Stevenson and
I saw him
Mario
drop somebody.
Chalmers
Yeah.
and Michael Beasley. They just won the championship over there.
They'll
Yeah,
get
it's
cooked-
funny,
they'll-
and you
but
see
they'll
him
get
playing
cooked in
against
real life.
other
Yeah,
people in the Big Three.
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, you stick him out there against, you know, them people on, you know,
Malik Beasley and-
Yeah,
You don't want like you can't put Mario Chalmers on Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That's not gonna work out too
no,
well.
and
I mean,
that's what it
That ain't
is.
gonna work out too well.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Whatever.
All right, man. Shout out to Jada and Beans though. I am
Legend.
good movie. I am waiting. I'll just say I'm waiting, and
I'm
I'm
not waiting, but if I see it in the algorithm, I'll check it.
Okay, if we put that in the algorithm or the Big Daddy Kane version of Bad
Oh, my
Dance.
God,
I'm,
man,
I'm
so
going,
short.
I'm
You
going
going
to
to listen
Jaden
to
Beans.
first.
Jaden
Long.
Beans.
See, he's stupid. That's stupid. All right, man.
My only thing, and this isn't going to be in the episode anyways, my only thing is just like, I just get, I know afraid's not the right word, but I just get afraid when like legendary rappers like that jump decades later.
And just hop back into.
And it's like, I haven't heard a Beanie record that I've liked in a long time. I've heard Jadakiss verses, but I haven't heard a Jadakiss record that's like sounded, I don't know, man. It's just, it's kind of worrisome a little
I've
bit.
heard some good Jada shit.
Yeah, me
Have
too.
you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
But you
sure,
probably
I'm
would
sure
check
all
it
his
for, like-
verses are good because Jadakiss
Yeah.
doesn't miss. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound like The Rock in 2003. Anyways,
I mean, what I always say is we gonna see. It's gonna come out, so we gonna see. Maybe we'll we revisit and discuss. That's stupid. All right, man.
Ignorance. So ignorant.
Jackson, can you grab me a blanket from?
Yo, this is so disrespectful, man.
It's not though
the
because
level of
that's,
disrespect.
I don't know what
for
you're
the
that's
goat.
his name.
It's
No,
a goat, man.
boy.
just a blanket.
NewOldAds.com for all the education you need this week. If you see it, like it, subscribe, hit any bell you see for notifications. Don't forget a 5-star rating. And also do not forget to check out our Patreon for all of the unedited episodes. We appreciate your support, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Yeah, throw down that box.